In the last part you saw that Fuji and Hina are alone at home and Hina asks Fuji to go outside with her, now continuing. Fuji agrees to go, and Hina drives him to a restaurant outside the city where they talk to each other in such a way that the waiter believes they are couples. Then they roam around for the rest of the day before heading to the beach for some fun in the evening. Fuji gets a chance and asks Hina why she is in a relationship with a married man. She tells him that when she was in school, many boys wanted to be friends with her, but the girls became jealous. So she was saddened by this and used to have lunch alone. Then one day Hajiwara appears and attempts to make her laugh, which makes her happy. Then Hina began spending time with Hajiwara every day, and when she met him a few years after graduation, he was already married, but Hina had developed feelings for him. This makes him realize that it is not wrong for Hina to love Hajiwara. So he gives her his novel and confesses his love to her. Hina accepts his love but wishes to keep their relationship a secret. She then tries to kill themselves by drowning herself with Fuji. When Fuji asks her the reason for this, she says that one day their secret will be revealed, so they will have to do this. Fuji understands what Hina is saying and embraces her. They then return home, where Hina reads Fuji's novel about her and becomes emotional. Fuji remains sad for the next few days, which Rei notices, so she comes to see him at night. Rei sits close to Fuji and requests that he kiss her, but he refuses because they are family. So Rei insists on kissing her because he attempted to kiss Hina. Fuji agrees to kiss her, and Rei enjoys the kiss so much that she wishes to kiss him every day. The next day, Fuji and Ashihara are sitting together and talking. When Rei and Momo see them together, they become jealous. Then Kariya notices them having fun and reminds them that their final exams are coming up. So they ask Hina for help with their studies. Then at night, when Fuji goes to Hina's room to ask for help after finishing his homework, he is stunned to see what happens inside because Hina is developing plot with herself. Fuji drops the book from his hand, which Hina hears, and by the time she comes out to see, Fuji has hidden. Then, when he meets Hina in the morning, she bids him farewell for the exam, but he is embarrassed after seeing her hand. Then, when he arrives at school, a bicycle collides with him. The boy on the bicycle, Alex, immediately befriends Fuji. Then, while returning home, they encounter an underwear thief, whom they pursue and apprehend. Fuji recalls Rei complaining to him in the morning about her underwear being stolen, so he summons her to the police station. Alex falls in love with Rei the moment he sees her and asks Fuji to set them up. After reaching home, Fuji tries to set Rei up with Alex, but this makes her angry and leaves from there. When he comes to Rei's room to apologize, she tells him forgot about the apology and gives her a kiss. They start kissing each other, and unfortunately Hina sees them doing this. Hina is completely shocked and exits the room. Fuji stops her to explain the situation, but Hina goes to her room without listening to him. Then Rei enters her room to explain that she likes Fuji and does not think their relationship is wrong because they are not related by blood, but Hina is still upset. Later, when Fuji tries to persuade Hina again, she tells him that she has decided to leave the house and has informed her parents of her decision. Her parents do not oppose her decision, and her father has planned a family trip to a cultural festival to commemorate Hina. Fuji wants to know why Hina is leaving, so as soon as he finds her alone, he takes her outside the festival area. Fuji asks Hina the reason for leaving home several times, but she refuses to answer him every time. Fuji forces Hina to respond, but she bites his hand and flees to the fair. Fuji starts to follow her there as well. Then they bump into the manager, who catches Hina on Fuji's request. Then they take Hina out of the fair, and the manager chastises her for avoiding conversation despite being an adult. Then leaves them alone to talk things out. Then Hina admits that she was jealous when she saw them kissing because she also loves Fuji, which is why she is leaving home. Fuji is overjoyed with her confession and hugs her. But despite this, Hina does not change her mind of leaving the house, which makes him sad. So Hina invites him to her house, and he becomes ecstatic. Rei later approaches Hina and requests that she not leave the house, but Hina does not change her mind. The next day, Fuji finds a letter from Hina on his doorstep, containing a duplicate key to her new apartment. After receiving it, something sinister begins to brew in his mind. He spends the entire day staring at the key and rushes to meet Hina as soon as the sun comes out. He then opens the door with the key and enters the house, where he finds her asleep. Fuji sits beside Hina and stares at her. When Hina opens her eyes, she is overjoyed to see him. They then kiss for an extended period of time. However, when Fuji becomes overly excited, Hina stops him. This makes him sad, and Hina advises him to be patient. When they meet at school, Fuji believes Hina is not ready for their relationship. Hina is surprised and assures him that she truly loves him but does not want to rush things. She then kisses him, satisfying his hunger. Fuji begins to spend the majority of his time with Hina, and he lies to Rei about going to Fumio's house. Later in school, Ashihara accidentally punches Fuji, causing him to fall down the stairs and injure himself. Fuji's injury prevents him from going out, which makes Rei happy because she can now spend time with him. Then, while he is bathing, Rei enters to assist him. But Fuji is embarrassed, so he asks her to turn off the lights. Then when Rei starts helping him, she accidentally catches Fuji's raging demon, which scares them both. The next day, Rei goes to the bar and learns from Fumio that Fuji lied to her about how often he spends time with him. So, when she gets home and asks Fuji why he lied to her, he lies again, saying he is going to Momo's house. Rei becomes enraged and requests that he inform her before going again. So Fuji explains everything to Fumio over the phone before lying to Rei about going to meet Fumio, but instead goes to meet Hina. They are romancing when the doorbell rings. Hina opens the door to see Rei outside, who notices Fuji in her apartment. This breaks little Rei's fragile heart, and she runs away from there. When Rei does not come home that rainy night, so Fuji comes looking for her. Rei slaps him in anger, and he continues to apologize to her. Rei forgives him and tells him that she read his novel and suspected that he loves Hina, so she went to Hina's house to check. Fuji confesses that they love each other. Upon hearing this, Rei is broken and kisses him one last time before they return home. The next day, Rei tells Fuji that she will force herself to hate him and that she intends to keep her distance. Fuji tells this to Hina, who tries to talk to Rei but she ignores her. A few days later, they go on a school outing, and Rei calls Hina to speak with her. Hina apologizes to her and offers to end her relationship with Fuji if she wishes. However, Rei forgives her and asks her to continue their relationship, and the sisters rebond. Fuji then visits Hina in her hotel room at night and presents her with a ring, which makes her very happy. He then expresses his desire to develop plot with her, and she agrees. Fuji immediately throws her on the bed, and the two develop plot all night. Hina then tells him that she has loved him since they first met on the rooftop, but has never been able to express her feelings to him. They then decide to stay together indefinitely. But the next day the principal contacts Hina and shows her a photograph of them kissing. Hina is stunned to see the photograph. To save Fuji, she immediately takes the blame on herself, prompting the principal to transfer her to another school. Later, Hina announces her transfer in front of everyone, which surprises Fuji. He tries calling her but receives no response. He rushes to her apartment, only to find it completely empty. He then discovers a letter from Hina, in which she requests that he forget her because the school has learned of their unholy relationship. Hina leaves for another city without telling anyone, but Fuji is devastated and refuses to leave his room. Fumio approaches to talk to him, but he continues to cry over Hina. To forget her, he isolates himself in his room and begins writing a new novel. Rei informs the manager of Fuji's condition, who arranges for him to meet him at a public bathhouse. He tells him about his sad life and encourages him not to give up on life. His advice works, and he begins to recover from his shock. He begins writing his novel diligently, and completes it that night. Then he visits Korea's house to give him the novel. After reading the novel, Korea is so impressed that he invites him to his house the following Sunday, and introduces him to his famous editor friend Hichiro, who takes him to the grand prize ceremony of literary art. Then Korea shows him the board on which Fuji's novel was awarded first prize. Fuji became well known after winning first prize for his novel. Fuji returns home and discovers Hina standing there. But after hugging her, he realizes she is Rui. Fuji asks why she is doing this, and she says she wants to see his feelings for Hina. Then she throws him onto the bed and begins expressing her love. And this is how the story concludes. Please like and share the video.